Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Goodcast Show. So, as with all of your films have played a very, very big part in my life, whether in form of entertainment or a source of life lessons or just a break from life as it is. So today it's a privilege and an honor to host a very, very good filmmaker who has made a name for himself for both entertaining and thought-provoking content, be it sketches, short films, or music videos. He's also the proprietor of his very own and popular podcast called the Toss Up Podcast, which covers topics that includes horror, crime, and on one occasion, an Indian classical instrument. We will be getting into that.
I can't believe we straight went to that. We straight went to it.
That's a curveball. There we go. So tell me, Jiven, we won't be talking about that. You can go to TikTok and find out about that. Anyway, his YouTube channel is called Jiven Sekar, and he has amassed a base of over 77,000 subscribers and continues to grow. I'm honestly and sincerely a fan, and after watching his recent upload, The Pride of Rajesh, I had to have him on the show. So please welcome the talented Mr. Jiven Sekar. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Nobody has hyped me up before like this, This is like, I feel so pressured that you hype me up so much. I'm like, even as I was hearing, am I actually this person? Who is he talking about?
Next time, call me to do the intro for your podcast. I'll do it. And Jiven, weighing in.
Because in our podcast, we usually insult each other.
Yes. I find it very entertaining. I love your podcast.
So when you like hype us, I'm like, oh shit, you see, it's like, this is so much pressure.
I have a question. In my research of you and the stuff you do, you have one of the guys, his name is Chris.
Yeah.
Is he a fan of Raghuvaran?
No, why?
Because the way he acts, every time I see him acting, I think of Mark Anthony from Barsha.
Oh my god, dude, I never put two and two together, but yes. To be honest, until you said it, I never realized it, but he's actually a very good actor.
Yeah.
But he's very, very shy.
Okay.
So he takes his time. So he wants to be a stuntman actually. His goal is to be a stunt director.
Nice.
So he likes fights.
And he's a fighter, right?
He's a fighter. He's a martial artist.
Nice. Well done. So let's go to you, man. Jiven, as I said, I'm a huge fan, and you've been doing this for a long time, over a decade, I think 12 years?
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
You really did your research. How you found out this information?
YouTube. Date established, and then I minus from the current year.
Okay. Yeah. It's been some time since I uploaded on YouTube.
Yeah. And now you're more on TikTok, I realize, right?
Yeah. You know what's the funny thing? I actually started as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But people recognize me more as a TikToker now.
Yeah, because your numbers are insane.
Yeah, I was like, you're the TikToker. Right? I'm just like, oh my God, I became a Gen Z kind of guy.
Okay, so I want to know, man, let's go to the beginning. How did it all start for you? How did you become a filmmaker?
To be honest, it's actually, I started in school.
Okay.
Like, one of my friend was the nephew of Yasmin Ahmad.
Oh.
So I knew him, and he was inspiring me to tell, filmmaking is kind of thing. This because his aunt does it very well. So I think she released Talent Time that time. So we were like, okay, let's write stories all together, and we submitted, and she loved the story, and she said like she want to meet us, but unfortunately 2 weeks later she passed away. But after that, I was just like, oh, this was a career that I could go for. So I just started like pursuing it until I told my parents about it. Indian parents didn't really love it. They were like, no, you're doing engineering or something. Because I had a full scholarship to do engineering.
Full scholarship? Oh my God.
So I told them, like, this is what I don't want to do. I want to go. So, but we sort of like met in the middle. So I did a degree for their thing, but I also did filmmaking on the side of my own. So everything is self-taught. So it just started from college, and I didn't know it would end up being a career. And I'm still thinking that it's not a career. I still feel sometimes I'm just doing my hobby.
Okay. And you run Salad Show Productions, right?
Yeah.
So that's a full-time company and all that.
Yeah.
So how's things going with that business?
We usually do ads. So at corporate ads, we have done TV shows for Disney and everything. So right now we are venturing into filmmaking. So we want to make a feature film. So we just got our FINAS license and everything. So we are slowly pushing towards that side. But it's kind of difficult to make a film for cinema than YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's the code that we're trying to crack. But I think we somehow managed to crack it, and we're pursuing it now.
Nice, man. Well done. I love your stuff. I love I think when I watch Pride Rajesh, the thing about you that I like is I like all the camera angles that you take. you don't seem to it's not very symmetrical. Like I like the opening shot where the camera takes and then the girl is just like maybe half of the shot and then, all that kind of thing. It's like your signature style. No, it reminds me of M. Night, how he likes the close-ups. And then Michael Bay likes the slow motion with the background music. And then Jerry Bruckheimer with the electric guitar while the action scenes are going on, right? So I like growing up, who were your filmmakers that you like?
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, so each director I have for a reason.
Okay.
So like, I think
I'll give you 5. Like, come on.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you 5. Okay. I like Spielberg because of how he takes adventure stories. He knows how to tell adventure stories. I like Mani Ratnam because he knows how to tell emotions very well. And then I like Shankar because he makes big film look. He overspends it, but he looks very nice. I think. And then English word, somehow I like Tarantino. The way he writes the screenplay is very nice. And then I also like Phil Lord. Phil Lord and Chris Lord. So they are the guys who produce Spider-Man. They're into Spider-Verse and everything.
Okay.
So their comedy timing is very good.
Okay.
So I loved how they include humor in storytelling.
Okay.
So each director is for a reason I watch.
Okay.
So I'm like, it just became a thing. But for Prior Rajesh, we mostly followed this series called Mr. Robot.
Yes. The one with the guy who played Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. So because the entire cinematography for that film is, we wanted to show like Rajesh as a character. We wanted to show like his world he's always pushed into a corner and he's very small in this world. How do we show this? So Mr. Robot was one of those inspiration because the character is very similar to Rajesh. But we decided to do this story because the actual story was way more, could get us in trouble. So we ended up shooting a off shot of the story. So it's like within this character, what can we tell? Like an emotional story, which is, I'll admit the story is too typical. It's very typical story, but we purposely went for it because it's one, easy to understand. And second is we just wanted to show like, okay, this is our style. Because a lot of people wanted me to make comedy.
Because that's what they sort of used to.
Used to. So, and I was like, no, I actually want to tell more. Because I made a promise to myself. It's like when I make content, the content that's going to be online is going to be comedy. The content that is going to be on feature film is going to be things that I want to talk about. So Pride of Rajesh is essentially a story about how socialism and how the story of a simple joke can can have severe consequences. So it's more similar like, this is a spoiler for the main story, but the actual story talks about how an Indian guy who has a criminal record, how would he survive in the system? That is the entire story.
That's the story.
That's the story. And he will be involved in another crime and that will backfire on him. So it's like, it's as simple as people telling him like, oh, it's Apu Nene, don't be scared. You know, that thing we hear very common, but he's a guy in the starting of the film will be okay with that. And the ending of the film, that will hurt him the most. So that was the actual log line of the story.
Nice. I can't wait. Now, before we get into that, because I really want to take a deep dive into that story, because I honestly, when I was watching it, I didn't think it was typical, especially that scene where he meets the boss. That was quite tough for me to. I was like, oh, it really makes you angry and you want to get into the screen and beat the guy.
That's actually my friend.
I know. I saw your TikTok. Yeah. Okay, so but I mean, I'm a film buff. I'm sure you are too. So, what are your top 5 films, man?
If you're film buff, right? That's the hardest question to answer.
Yeah. First that comes to mind. Come on.
Okay, first to come to mind.
And not by order, just top.
Okay, I like this movie called Iruvar. It's a very old Indian movie. I love watching it because the dynamic of the characters are very interesting. And I'm a huge Marvel fan. So any Marvel movies is by choice in the list.
Even the most recent ones.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, the most recent one has been sucky, but Deadpool Wolverine kind of saved it.
Yeah, saved a bit.
So I'm very biased when it comes to Marvel or DC movies because I grew up watching it. Oh man, this is tough. The Into the Spider-Verse.
The cartoon.
The cartoon. Because that was the first film when I watched it. I was genuinely sitting down and I was just like, that's exactly how I wanted to make a movie. So when I saw it, I'm just like, oh shit, somebody just made my movie. So I was like, oh shit, I remember coming out of the cinema. We were in outside the street. I just sat there. I'm like, oh shit, dude, somebody just made the movie I wanted to make. And I was just surprised that they could execute it so well.
Yeah, it was a very nice movie. It's very entertaining. Yeah.
In
fact, for DC, I also prefer all the animations more than the.
Oh yes.
The animations are so good.
Yeah, I love the animation. I feel
So
like,
good.
like I tell people, like Marvel is good at making movies, but DC is a king in comes to animation.
Yeah. And it's not about the graphics so much, but more of the content. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good. The story is really good. It's captivating. I was like,
Yeah.
this is a cartoon?
yeah. So I was like, when I watched it, this series called Young Justice, I was watching it.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So I was watching Young Justice. I'm a huge fan of it, and the way they tackle certain topics, I'm like, wow. There's one topic where she becomes a hijabi or something, and the way they tackle the story, I was like, why don't y'all do this in the movie? Y'all are capable of telling good stories, but they don't.
Have you seen The Last Joke?
Oh yeah, the last that's the one that
No, it's not The Last Joke. Is it
The
the
Killing
last
Joke.
It's The Killing Joke.
the Killing Joke.
Awesome, man. I was like, whoa, that last conversation, Batman and Joker, whew, that was a killer, man. I
I was
it.
like, oh, that was when I watched it. I'm like, yeah, but this you could never make it into an actual live action because the cartoon was much more, the comic book was much more insane. So when they made it, I'm like, oh, okay, but that story had a little bit like, I think they misread some situation, so it gave a wrong impression. And I was just like, no, that is the bravest thing y'all did.
Okay, so let's go into your channel. I mean, I think once Michael Bay said it best. He said that every filmmaker must look to arouse an emotion from their viewers, right? When I look at your content before, I mean, not what actually was supposed about, but the perception, I would think, it's more, you were more known for comedy bits and all that stuff. But now I'm seeing a sort of shift into where you are becoming more of a social commentator. You are talking about issues like racism. You're talking about issues like gender relationships and all that, same-sex relationships. I think there was one with, what's his name? I forgot his name now. The recent one you did.
Arvind, is it?
Harvind, and all that, which I liked. I thought it was very nice. It was nice to see Harvind in a different light, not making too much noise, but more control.
In the film it was quite.
Is this Harvind?
The only reason he did it because there wasn't much dialogue, so he said like, I will do that.
But it's nice to see you take this shift. I like seeing your growth as a filmmaker, right? So what do you hope that your content achieves? What sort of emotions do you want your content now to inspire in people watching it?
Actually, okay, there was this. To be honest, what made me release Pride of Rajesh is there was a few of my friends. They went to watch a Malaysian movie, so Malaysian Tamil movie or something. They went and watched it, and there was a guy who was in the cinema. So because my friends all were making fun of the Indian movie, because Malaysian Indian movies, they tend to be very bad. So not all, but most of it is quite bad. So
please don't repeat the incident that happened to you to me.
No,
I don't want press conferences.
It's okay. I will make the apology video. Don't worry.
That was an awesome video, though. I gotta say, I like all the shifts. I was like, wow, this is a very choreographed apology. I loved it.
Oh shit! We don't say it was choreographed. Okay,
No,
anybody
no.
asks, it's like
It's
just
sincere.
It's sincere. But I'll tell you.
Sorry, but fun fact. I had invited Vika to come on a while back. I think quite a while back. And then this thing happened, right? And I had no idea. And then I had a guest on who was at the press con there. And I was like, oh shit, did they see him and say, oh, this guy may be a wrong guy to come on or something?
Because, okay, so when the press con happens, it's a bit off topic.
bit of it, yeah.
So when the press con happens, there were lawyers there.
Okay.
So we actually asked our lawyers, like, is there an actual case? Because they made 80 cases against us.
Yeah.
So we went to the police. I went to the police station and asked, like, there's 80 cases against me. So, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
The guy just tried to say, if it is 80 cases against you, you would have been in the lockup by now.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, there's no case. Huh?
There's no case. And they even asked what was the issue. It's like, you are talking about an instrument. Generally, there's nothing in the case.
Yeah.
And even the lawyers that were there, apparently they were told to come there and they didn't know what was going on until the press con started and they were like, oh shit, we are stuck here. So we did clarify a lot of lawyers and everything. But the only reason why we did apology because it was getting very violent around us. People were starting to hunt us. They were like, people were like going to our fans and like when our fans were talking about us, people would come and tell them like, you slept with them, is it? I'll slap you and shit. They were really violent towards them.
Oh.
And they were even violent towards the people. Like some of my friends go to shops and eat because I work from home, so I'm always at home. So my friends are always out.
I can see by your getup. You just left home. Just finished editing. Let's go for a podcast.
Actually, that's what I did.
Don't need to dress up or anything. It's fine.
So when went to the restaurant and everything, and the restaurant guy came and told us, bro, I don't think so. You should come here because people were talking about you, and they were really pissed. They were ready to beat you up. So we were like, okay, now we have to make this, and I wanted to make sure like, okay, this has to be like we have to tell people what they're doing as well. So like I was actually surprised that the way they were behaving, but I think after that they kept quiet
After that, things sort of just died
because
down.
I was calling them out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Every comment they did, I was just calling them out. So I telling them why are you not educating? But I felt like my podcast went way more famous after them. But also I never knew there was that instruments. I didn't know there was an association for the instrument until this thing happened, and everyone around me like, I think they used you to become famous, and I used them to become famous.
Perfect. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win situation. That's why no negative publicity is.
That's right. So no more instruments on your podcast. Then.
No more.
Stick to Western ones.
Actually, we censor ourselves when we say it.
You should.
So what are you saying?
Sorry. So back to the topic at hand, which is what is the whole mission behind the content you're putting out now that is more social commentary.
So like I was saying, we went for this movie.
Yeah.
And there was uncle there that you were saying like, were you guys were the one laughing in the movie? There were like 6 or 7 people in the movie. He said, yeah, uncle, because of the movie said. Then he said he came to watch this movie because his son wanted to become a filmmaker, and he wanted to see what is the filmmaking scene in Malaysia. And he said, like, if my son has to make these kind of films, I'll be very disappointed. And I was just like, oh, it feels very disheartening for someone, like a father who wants to. So I was like, no, there are better stories to say. So, and I wanted to personally, like, when I was young, I didn't feel racism, all this was a big thing. As I grew up, I realized there's so much social thing that we should talk about. And I think using my platform to tell comedy in that way, it became very interesting.
Yeah, it definitely did.
So I just started doing it.
Nice. And I hope you continue. I have a great respect for people like you who are able to come up with these sort of ideas. I mean, I wish I could be like that, like write sketches and all that kind of stuff, because I grew up watching all this, right? But I have no creative bone in my body. That's why I just stick to a mic and be talking. That's the only thing I can do. But where do you draw your inspiration from to get these sketches out on paper?
I think conversation with real life people. I think having conversation and just observing people. So I generally just observe people as much as I can, and I see how a certain people would react to certain situation, because I would have a different reaction. They would have a different reaction, and basing on their reaction, we can understand what is going on. And the hardest part is saying it in their perspective. So that was the hardest part. So once you understand, like, these people behave this way because of this cultural background, it's much more easier to execute it. So that's why I think conversation with people, just like I'm having a conversation with you, and based on whatever you tell me about yourself, I can roughly like, okay, if I put you in this situation, how would you react to this situation based on the responsibilities that you have? And that will create the story.
Nice. Now, last thing about your channel, I noticed from all your content that you work with a lot of non-Indian women. So what's your deal with the brown sisters? Why are you letting them? I mean, why are you disregarding them? Oh my God! Another press con awaits.
Another press con. Okay, to be honest,
Indian Women Association is coming for you.
Okay, I get this question a lot by my friends. It's not because I don't want them. It's because I didn't have any connection to get them. Because generally, I come from Subang. So Subang is very Chinese and Indian, Chinese and Malay situation. So like everywhere I go is just like I'm from very mixed culture, and all my Indian friends are people who can't really speak Tamil. So I was like, okay. So just recently I started knowing more Indian people, and like it's way harder to get them. It's way harder to get Indian people to act in a film.
Really?
Yeah.
Why so?
Okay, you know, Pride of Rajesh is one thing is I didn't want to act. I wanted to find other people to act. We went 3 months of finding people just like, can you come and act? Can you come and act? And dude, we get like crazy like responses. Like I message them today, I'll get a reply 2 weeks later. So it's like, and the 2 weeks later is like, and they want to behave in a certain way. They want to look certain way. It's like, just an actor. What you want to do? So it's like, we realize that it's very harder to approach them. And Indian girls also, not like that ones acting, are very hard to approach.
Hard to approach?
They're very hard to approach.
Okay.
Like when you say like this, the project, I think, I don't know why they are very, like, they're very culturally very sensitive. Like they only want to act in love stories, or it's like it doesn't show like they're degrading themselves. So comedy is like you have to make fun of yourself, right? And they don't want to do that. So a lot of people don't want to do that, and they tend to say no a lot more. So we're like, okay, but I have a group of friends who are like they're theater. So everyone who does theater is very easy to approach. So I just go with like you have theater background, you will understand the material faster.
Of
So
course,
I just call them.
Okay. So, I mean,
It's a logical answer because why? Because they're very hard to approach.
Okay.
Humans are very, very hard to approach.
if any press conference, he's the guy, not me.
But
I asked the question.
some people think I got yellow fever lah.
I was thinking that. I said, is this, am I seeing a real life coconut?
Okay, I am a bit of a coconut. Like most of the time I do speak in Tamil in my content, but the thing is there's people that teaching me how to speak it.
Oh.
So I'm like repeating it a few times. And if I in the podcast when I'm speaking English too much, my friends will like hit me and say, you need to speak Tamil. And I'll like curse a bit. I'll use a curse word, then I'll switch my brain. I'm like, okay, I need to speak in Tamil now. That's how most of the time. And you can see me in the podcast, I'm very quiet because I can't speak Tamil very fast.
Okay, so that's why.
I'm not very witty with Tamil.
Okay.
So I tend to take some time. So I'm like, that's why I'm like the side. My own podcast, I'm sitting on the side because I can't really speak Tamil very fast.
Okay, fair enough. But at least you're much better than me. I can't speak Tamil at all.
Yeah.
And I married a China woman. So that.
So you have the yellow fever.
Yeah, yellow fever.
You have the yellow fever, not me, okay? But I still have the yellow fever.
I'm infected. Anyway, now, early on in your content, I noticed that you put out a lot of relationship-based content. A lot of sketches that you did were relationship-based. You almost were like the Richard Curtis of Malaysia. For those who don't know, he's the one who did 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Notting Hill, my favorite, About Time, all these classic rom-coms. So are you a hopeless romantic, man?
No. I think because when I was during college, I made so much of relationship stories that I hate talking about relationship stories.
You hate it. Okay.
I really don't like it.
So is that why now you've just said enough of
just
this?
like this is like my relationship stories. They need to be complicated. They need to be like, oh, this thing need to happen. So I think like in terms of relationship, the nuances, how difficult it is to navigate it, I prefer that stories. If it's like simple rom-com, even I get bored.
Okay.
I'll make it funny. By default, I'll make it funny.
Okay.
So I'll be like, all right. But recently I was like, maybe we should do it because a lot of people like it, like cheesy stuff. So we're like, okay.
What is GG stuff?
Like, like cheesy.
Cheesy stuff.
Cheesy.
Got it.
It's a bit GJ, but you know what? We don't talk about it. But generally, I feel like Indian people generally love these hopeless rom-coms.
Yeah.
But I have come to understand reality of life. I think life affected me too much. Man.
You're jaded. No more love for me.
Yeah. So I was like, but I do love watching rom-coms. I'm a huge. I love The Proposal a lot.
Oh yeah, me too.
I love The Proposal. Yeah. Then like all those 90s and early 2000s rom-coms. I love it.
Yeah.
So the recent new ones, I'll be like, this is shit.
Yeah, it's not the classics. It's not the classics.
So I was like, I love watching rom-coms. It's my...
But I think that's one genre that sort of died away. Huh? Like now you don't get as many as before.
I think now it's too woke.
Yeah.
It's a bit too culturally. Because like, you see, last time rom-com, right, they are not afraid to talk about if the guy is an asshole, they will show him an asshole.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to be politically correct and everything.
Yeah.
So it...
Like, he has to open the door, wash the dishes.
Yeah, so it's a bit more like the guy is not, or the girl is not like, they don't make mistakes. They're too perfect. So I'm like, boring.
Now, is that why, because earlier you were talking about how it was tough to get actors, is that why I noticed that in your earlier films, you were never in the film itself, and now you are more apparent in the films? Is that why you decided to be more involved in your films?
I actually hate acting.
You hate acting?
I hate acting. I really, really hate acting.
You hate love, you hate acting. Come on, man.
Because okay, so I think the entire part of filmmaking, the best part is being the guy who crafts the film.
Okay.
So I love like being the director, being the cinematographer and editor. So because I love like crafting the film.
Okay.
Being an actor is just like you have to look good all the time. And I'm like, so much work.
I just want to be me.
I just want to be like, can you just do it?
Yeah.
But Prior Raja is one of those things like I couldn't find an actor. I was just like, okay, I'll just do it myself. Like most of it, I realized that last time when I did like Salad Show and everything, when we were doing it, I wasn't more prominent on the camera. So people didn't know who I was. but my channel was growing. And then I realized that I was okay with that. And I realized that in the future, marketing wise, it's very bad because you don't market yourself.
That's true.
So right now what I'm doing is I'm just establishing myself as much as I can so that when I make the feature, it's easier for me to sell the movie to the people.
If of all the content you do, you've done a lot of course, comedy, relationships, the love genre. Then now you're doing a more social commentary. What sort of genres are you looking to get into in the future?
Horror.
I was hoping you said I love horror. Love horror.
Yeah, so I'm a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know how to write horror. The horror is one genre. It's very, very difficult to write because you have to like create a myth and create a legend. I'm like, oh, this is so difficult. But the first feature film that we're doing is a horror film.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is Prior Rajesh?
Prior Rajesh is the second feature film we're doing.
Oh, so there's another one you're doing now.
Yeah,
Has it
we
been
are
released?
working on it.
Working on it.
Working
nice.
on it. Because we realized that if I Prior Rajesh as a film, it'll be too depressing to watch. So we're like, okay, let's make a horror because horror is much more easier to sell and you don't need to be in Indian language. We're making it in a Malay language. So it's like anybody can watch it.
Oh, please do because Malay horror is bad. Oh my god. I mean, sorry.
Sorry.
It's bad. I saw that day Kara. Oh my god, it was so bad. It was really bad. But like the one I saw was Pontianak Harum Sundar Malam. But that one, the ghost is Maya Karin. How is that a scary thing?
Okay, I had a crush on Maya Karin when
me
it came
too.
out. So
Me
I
too.
still
Me
do
too.
have it.
Maya Karin.
You know, I
Yeah,
met
Lord.
her in a YouTube function.
Serious?
She was there and I'm like, oh, that's my crush. I was so shy to meet her. But generally, it's one of those things like for future, we're looking at social commentary or horror. There's two genres.
Two things. You think James Wan has come and changed the entire horror industry?
I think James Wan sort of like made me realize that, oh, you can play with horror much more easier.
Yeah. He really changed things.
When I saw Conjuring 1 and 2, I was like, oh my God, you can shoot horror like this.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to shoot horror.
Just in a house, nothing else. Yeah.
So I executed, and in terms of budget wise, it's way more cheaper.
Yeah, definitely. If you want any extras, let me know. I'm willing to act.
Okay.
I can be the Slender Man.
Actually, to be honest, you're quite tall. You can't be the ghost.
Slender Man, yeah. Disappear. Hey.
You can't do hey. That was like, oh, they were not ghost enough.
Ghost enough,
Just stand there, be quiet.
I love horror. I mean, my favorite character is Walak. The thing. I think that really revolutionized horror. I mean, you finally had an antagonist who was like, wow.
Okay, you know which horror movie scared the shit out of me?
Which one?
The Omen.
The first one.
The old one.
Yeah, the one. No. The one with the boy. Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. And last time, and they made it in Tamil last time. They remade it in Tamil.
Okay.
The Tamil one is way more creepier.
Remade it as in just dubbed or remade the whole movie?
They remade the whole movie.
Really?
Into old Indian movie. It's an old Indian movie.
Okay.
The old Omen movie was remade into an old Indian movie.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, so that one, never knew, and it scared the shit out. Because, okay, you have to understand that I was watching the movie around like 2 a.m. So I was watching it and I was really creeped out. And I was sleeping in the hall with my grandma. Just like watching it. So, and then suddenly she just screamed and she just slept. And I was like, tough. I got scared the shit. And apparently it's a very common thing among old people.
Yeah. Who they just wake up and scream.
No, apparently when you have Alzheimer or anything, you just like suddenly just scream and just drop.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
So you found out when you're watching horror movie.
I was like just scared as shit.
Yeah.
But now if I want to make a horror movie, it'd be like a very A24 inspired.
Okay. A24, what does that mean?
It's A24 is like the guys who did Midsommar's, Hereditary.
Hereditary. So you like more shock horror than shock?
Yeah, it's more like, because the ghost horror, I felt like it's scary, but the moment you see the ghost, you're not scared.
Unless you make it into a character.
Yeah,
like
so
what
we
James
want
Wan did, yeah.
So we want to make it look like this entire thing is the horror is like, is it actually a ghost or is it actually your psychological?
Oh, have you seen the movie The Visit?
Yeah, something like that.
That's an awesome movie, man. M. Night, he's my man. I love
So
M. Night.
it's like those kind. It's an old school M Night kind of movie, and I want to make it like you don't know whether it's real or fake. The whole thing is it's an investigative kind of way because I feel like that's the only way I know how to write it.
Because like one thing about horror I like is like when I was growing up, like even like in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, horror became very shock value. Like you could predict it. Like the girl opened the fridge, she'll close, boom, the thing is there. Then they got creative when she closed, it's not there, but then it's behind her. But James Wan did this thing which was ingenious, man, where he dragged the scene. So like something is happening and you're waiting and waiting and waiting and then boom, it just comes. Oh, I love it, man.
The,
Yes,
the
I
one,
love horror.
and also I think Asian horror is one of the best horrors.
I've not
Asian
seen
horror
many.
movies.
I've not seen many. I've seen
Korean-
Japanese one. The Korean one. I saw The Ring and stuff like that. Yeah.
This recently I watched this Exuma.
Is that good?
It's like I was like, wow, that is very well executed for a horror. And it's the entire thing is, it's like they will go and they will solve one horror thing, but it will end up opening another horror. So it's like once there's two stories in that horror.
Okay.
So you like, oh, they will solve the first shit, but they will open up a can of worms.
Is it hard for you as a filmmaker to actually enjoy a movie? Like, can you just sit back and without analyzing and just absorb it and just watch it?
It was last time.
Now you can't.
No, last time I couldn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Last time I tend to be like, it's a movie, just shut up and enjoy it.
So I had a few questions about relationships, but I think we're going to skip that because
Oh, you can ask.
Okay. Let me ask
Let's
that.
go.
Let's go. Okay.
Let's go. Okay.
So I among your short films, because I find it hard that to believe when you say that you don't really like this, because I like the writing, I like the quotes you put at the end. It reminded me of a show I liked called Criminal Minds,
yeah.
where at the start and the end they'll have a quote, very nice. So let's tap the love keg and the love guru. Please tell us. Just a question based on all your experience making love stories and writing it. What do you think is the key to having a wholesome relationship?
The wholesome relationship is, okay, so every day you wake up to choose to love the person.
Like
It's a choice whether you want to love the person. So if you want to make the person happy, you every day just make a small gesture that you love the person. And that would like make the relationship last very long.
it's
So
like,
I feel like that is the key.
sounds like you're inspired by 50 First Dates.
Actually, that was one of my. Like, I look at him like, yeah, that would be nice, but there's so much work.
So much work,
So
man. Sounds
much work.
tiring.
It's tiring.
Like, how can you have a day job and do this? Like, sometimes you have to stay late.
So I'm like, this is so much. This is like a full-time job on its own.
I think if you were in that movie reality, I think some days you'll just say, no, fuck it, I'm tired.
Yeah, fuck it. Like, today, let her forget. Today,
Tomorrow, a reminder.
Today, she can forget.
Okay. Now, again, I want to have some, because you, like I said in your content, you focus a lot on they're not racist, sorry, but the topics surrounding racism and all that. So racism now is a common denominator in your topic, in your content, right? I like the one you did about the one where robbery gone wrong.
Yeah.
And then the one about the house where you came to view the house, and then this Chinese couple were like, trying to get you to not rent it and all that. Have you faced, this sort of situations when you're growing up?
All those are based on my situation.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all those things that actually happened to me. So I was like, when I wanted to buy a house, and I was told I couldn't buy it because I was Indian. And
You
that
were
was,
told?
Yeah, I was so like, wait, I'm just buying the house.
Yeah.
I'm not even renting it.
Yeah.
So because of that, I tend to overcompensate when I rent a place. I rented an office. I gave it back better than it was.
Okay.
So I repainted everything and I gave
My
it.
goodness.
Then the robbery gone wrong. So it's like, because I felt like a lot of Chinese people generally, when they see Indian guy, they tend to lock their doors.
Yes.
So we just took an exexaggerated version of it and we just showed it.
But that was very funny though. Very, very funny.
I think we shot it like 3 times over the course of 8 months.
8 months. Why? Yeah.
Because we couldn't get it right. We could not get it right because the jokes were not hitting well. Something was going wrong. And then we're like, okay, we realized that it was need to be. So I think the actress, Tiara, she came in, she's going to improv everything. So whatever you see us reacting is actually genuinely we seeing her doing it for the first time.
Wow.
So she was improving and we just like, what the hell? The guy beside her was like, actually my friend, Gabriel. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, and because they all had theatre background, so they just went with the thing.
Okay.
So we were like, okay, whatever happens.
Yeah, but it came out very well. I mean, I loved it, and all her conversation was very natural.
Yeah. She, because it was on the spot, she was doing it, and we were like, okay.
Yeah. Another video of yours that I like is Code 42.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's basically, for those who want to check out his channel, it's basically a snippet on a call center where the character you play is answering to a Chinese woman, I think.
Yeah.
And she's not used to your fluent English. And then you pass it on to your coworker who then speaks in an Indian accent. It sounded Jamaican at some point. I think he was jumping through, and then she actually accepts it, right? Then she, okay, yeah, this is then he says that if for you to talk in a call center, because people expect you as an Indian to speak the Indian way, you should do that. Now, my thing is, before we get to what you were trying to portray, but what is the message of this video that you were doing?
I just thought because I had someone tell me that all Indian people are tech advisors. So I was just like, okay, let me make a joke out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why we did it. We just like, okay, how can we exaggerate? And we wanted to make it look like how Key and Peele will do it. Key and Peele will take something very small and they will exaggerate it and go to a point where it's so stupid, ridiculous, but it still makes sense in the context. So the experiment of that house, the robbery gone wrong, and Code 42 was all in terms of writing exercise for me to like, how can I push this even further? And that's why robbery gone wrong took us a long time, because we didn't know what made it funny. So after we made it funny, we're like, oh, let's recreate it again. And that's how Code 42 all came up.
You know, the thing is, in robbery gone wrong, you have a dialogue which says that you people like to drink alcohol, right? And then you have in Code 42 where the assumption is that we speak in that way, head bobbing and all that kind of stuff. Who do you think is to be blamed for permeating this sort of stereotype about our community?
Honestly, I think it's the Indians themselves.
Okay.
Because a lot of people... so I did this Google initiative program called... we talked about things and we researched about stereotypes. Did you know in Malaysia, especially this side of Malaysia, this is like west, right? It's west? West side of Malaysia.
You should get out of your house more. Or buy a compass or something.
So, the west side of Malaysia, stereotype is what unites us. Did you know that? Like, calling each other like racist remark is sort of like creates a bond between the different races. Whereas in East Malaysia, they don't talk about all this.
No.
So I was like, oh, that's a very interesting. So this is like a very KL problem, a very Penang, like very city-based problem. And I thought it was very funny. Like, oh, this is like... So after that, I'm just like, why did it happen? And that's where Pride Rajesh came. Pride Rajesh is a context of, if you are okay with this conversation, this is what will happen. This is where it will lead to. And I was part of that, where I used to make fun of it. And then later on, I realized in life, like, oh, I shouldn't like make this. Because I did this series called Gucci Says last time. I talk in an Indian accent.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah. So when I spoke in an Indian accent and I stopped doing it, is because a lot of people started thinking that's how I speak. And that's how a lot of Indians speak. So I was just like, no, I should stop doing it, because it's perpetuating that whole idea of like, hey, Indians speak this way.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to. So then I realized that Indians who think they're very open-minded are a reason why this happens. And I was just like, how do I say this in a comedic way?
Yeah.
That's why I don't know.
No, I mean, just to talk about a certain personal situation. So as you have rightfully noticed, I'm tall. So
Very tall.
Very tall. So I'm 6'9", right? So when I go into a
6'9",
6'9", yeah, 6'9".
You, my God.
So when I go into a lift, and this is an interesting social experiment, right? When I go into a lift, and it always happens in a lift, right? Every race responds to me differently. And I've been getting this since I was, I think, in my teens. So
You were 6'9" in your teens.
I was always the tallest, like in my school or in the wherever. So
you always look down on people,
Yes. I get that too a lot. Oh my God. You know, like in Joker where he hands people a card. I wish I could do that. Like all the things, you know. So like I get the questions, especially from Chinese people. Like Malay people, they look at me, they make a joke. Oh, you're tall. As usual, they ask me whether can I give them some of my height. You know, they just want handouts. But anyway.
I didn't say it, guys. He said it.
Indians, they respond in a very usual way. They are astonished by the height. Obviously, I would understand. You see someone taller than average, you're astonished. Chinese people are the worst. I can say this because I married a China woman. Okay.
He's the racist one, by the way.
So they asked me whether I played NBA. First they asked whether I play basketball. And then they question my entire life choices. They say, why didn't you go NBA? You go NBA. Yao Ming. So yeah, okay, fine. And then they ask me, I get questions like, and then you get the older ones who try to make a joke in the lift, which is the most annoying. Then they come to you, they say, how's the weather up there? This is physics, it's the same. It's not like on top here, it's like glaciers and down it's desert.
No,
right?
you should say it's less stupid up here.
Yeah. I want to use that. I would use
It's
that,
less
right?
stupid up here.
Yeah. And the worst of all is like, okay, first they assume I'm foreigner. Right? And then I say, no, I'm Indian. No lah, correct. You Indian, you're not Punjabi. Then I say,
Isn't
Punjabis
Punjabi
are
is in
Indians.
Indians, right?
Yeah, I said the Indian subcontinent, Punjab is there. Anyway, but when I go into a live, and this happened a few times, when I have worn an NBA t-shirt, no questions.
Huh.
No questions. Like nobody asked me any question. They just, or I hold a basketball, no questions, because that picture fits. Tall guy, basketball, yeah, makes sense, right?
Huh.
And it's weird. It happened to me multiple times, right? So when I watch your content, right, like on Code 42 and all this, right, do you think that sometimes when we talk about the problems within our community, the Indian youth, gangsterism, alcoholism and all this, do you think that's also caused by because it's easier for people to succumb to stereotypes because that's all they know about themselves, because that's what's been told to them, that's how people react to them, that the fault of most of these problems, like alcoholism, gangsterism, is because of how the outside world treats them?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because yes, to a certain extent, like people ultimately expect this out of you, but at the end of the day, I feel like you have the choice, right? You have the choice to like either conform to that or not. Because I don't drink or smoke. So
Really?
I never drank or smoked before.
Really?
Yeah, I've never touched alcohol.
Are you like mixed race or something?
No, I'm pure Indian. See, I get that a lot as well. But I've never drank alcohol or smoked before. Okay. So I get I face the same thing. Like, you're Indian, how can you not drink? How can you not smoke? But I never. I never did. And I've been to bars and everything, but I only drink Coke. So generally, I feel like you have an option. You have the option to say no.
Okay.
But I've also understood, while making Pride or Rajesh, for example, I've understood some people cannot escape that life.
Okay.
Like they are brought up in situations where this has become a very normal thing around them.
Okay.
Drinking and smoking is a way of culturally talking to and bonding each other.
Yeah.
Drinking is a session where you bond with someone. So it's expected out of you.
Okay.
And I was just like you can't really escape. So the thing is, how do we tell this? And like, it's very difficult because systematically it's implanted. And a lot of Indians are like, it's very hard. I tell a lot of my friends, I'm very privileged because I grew up, my parents worked hard enough for me not to grow up there. But a lot of people are not. So when they grow up, I'm like, I can understand why you are there, but you can come out of it. And their mental strength is very too weak because they are always told they can't.
They are conditioned by their
condition. So I'm
yeah.
like, it's like you're telling someone like it's like telling a drug addict like, no, you can overcome it, but to his mind, like he can't. They're addicted to it. So it's like things go, it's like a circle, it's a loop. It's because of the society, these people behave like this, and these people behave because of society like this. So it's like
it's a closed loop.
It's closed loop. So you can't really escape it. I only think the only way to escape it is education. I strongly believe that if you have proper channels to educate yourself, go for it.
There we go. Now you sound very Indian. Perfect. Back to normal. Education is key.
So like I genuinely, because I feel like education is one thing that will break this.
Definitely. But again, on the topic of stereotypes, I mean, I've heard people say this very openly and objectively, okay? Where they say that, for example, I have 2 kids. So
you have 2 kids?
2 kids, yeah.
Oh my God. You don't look like someone who has 2 kids, by the way.
Yes, I do. So like I've had someone look at my daughter and say, "Oh, not black." And they said it so openly and so matter of fact that I couldn't react, because I understand that from their perspective, that's just in their mind, what they're saying is because Indian dark, beat wife, drink alcohol, right?
Yeah.
But so shouldn't the burden of reform also be on side of the people who permeate this type, who practice this type of stereotypes? Like, educate yourself, not just on us, the kids, right? It should be like that, right? Both sides.
Yeah, but the only thing is, I feel like, see, they can educate yourself, but there are Indians who entertain it, who find it funny as well. So I'm like, don't do that. You don't entertain it. Educate them instead. Because I used to entertain it, and now I just try to know, actually, there's these things, you have to find it. And I think it goes both ways. It's like, one, to be respectful. Another thing, but it's like, this is a very difficult topic, man. Because that's why we did like the rap video. Me, Vika all did a rap video.
Bangun.
We actually didn't even name the song. People named the song as Bangun.
Oh, really?
We didn't even know it was called Bangun until like we got to say, oh, so the song is called Bangun.
Okay.
But in that song, we also say like, I think Vika told us like, okay, how do we say this message so that the other people understand? And Vika came out with the line like, okay, let's say it in Malay because we understand a lot of Malaysian. As much as we are speaking English, a lot more Malaysian understand Malay better than English.
Yeah, definitely.
So Malay, so we decided to go to the Malay language, and I spoke in Tamil, so that 3 verses in Malay, and then the last one in Tamil, so that you understand what we're saying.
Okay.
So that's why we wanted to go with that direction, and then we felt like that experiment worked. We knew it was going to work, but we just didn't know how well it was going to work.
Yeah, I think it reached about 2 million in 3 days, or 3 million in 2 days, or something. Like that.
I think it's now at 6 million.
6 million.
I think we went a few. I think collectively we hit about 10, 12 million.
Okay.
Because some people re-uploaded and stuff.
Interestingly that you brought that song up, because when I was listening to the song, I always had this question in my head, like, why do you think these stereotypes, every race has its own stereotypes, right? Like, the Chinese have it, the Malays have it. But why do you think it doesn't stick on them and it just sticks on us? Our stereotypes seem to really stick on us, whereas theirs is not even mentioned.
I think sometimes we play into the stereotype very well.
Okay.
We like sometimes like Indians don't drink. Let me see, report Indian fella drink. It's like, "Dey, you're not helping us, dey."
No, that's true. Like in Bangsa, I don't know who these Indians are. I hope they don't watch this. So
That's okay. You can make a press conference. They will make a press conference. You've seen it.
the Drinkers Association. And there was this group of guys. I remember I went on a Saturday morning with my family. We were walking, and then this group of guys. But anyway, so they were right out, like they were at their car, which is parked. In Bangsa the roads, right? It's all parked. It's opposite housing areas, and they're still drinking. It's 8 in the morning. So they must have had a long night. And I'm like, no, see, this is why we have the stereotypes.
I was like, "Hey, you're drinking still,
I mean, to be fair, I used to do that back in the day, but we did it in parks back then.
Okay, they came to the road. You know what? Like a lot of people think like, as Indians, we're not scared of other Indians. To be honest, we are. Like you don't understand. Like an Indian guy, like straight up comes in, we're like, okay, this is scary kind of Indian. But I'll be honest, like the most scariest Indians are the most nicest. The scariest looking Indians are the most nicest Indians. The most nicest looking Indians are the most scariest ones.
You never know. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. So I feel like sometimes, even though when we want to fight it, we tend to like be more obvious about it, and we tend to be very loud.
Yeah, we are loud people.
I think Indians tend to be very emotionally charged.
Yeah.
So when a problem happens, we among in our community, we like, so like, when I got into trouble, I removed my video hit 80,000 views and we removed it immediately. The people who reacted my video got 1 million, 2 million views. And we were like,
what's happening here?
Then we were like, actually, we should just left the video. We could have gotten some connection. But we got so much death threats. And I realized that.
Death threats?
We got death threats. When I said like people were looking for us, they're not looking to find us or talk to us. They were looking to kill us.
Have a discussion.
No, they were looking to kill us. And they told us like, come, we apologize, right? They said it was not enough. They told us to come and apologize and bow to their feet.
Wow.
That's what they wanted us to do. And we were like, I was like, I'm still Indian, man. I got ego.
No, but we are. And I think that's also one thing that I would hope that people embrace more. I think as Indians, being an Indian myself, I'm loud. Like my wife doesn't get it. Like when we watch TV, we watch a movie, we talk to the screen.
Yeah.
Like we are there. We are there next to the main
We are part of that family.
We just migrate into that. But this is how it is. I said, one of my things that I said I must do is I must bring you to watch a first showing of a Rajini movie.
Oh my God!
I said you have not experienced movie watching until you've gone to that.
That is like every all my non-Indian friends. I'll just say, just come the first day and just experience it. You think Marvel is like that? Endgame was like that, bro. Every movie, every year once, 3-4 times you get Endgame.
Yeah. And then like and Endgame, you probably see like maybe in the start or at the end they'll clap. No, we are clapping throughout the movie.
Do you know I watched one Rajinikanth movie? I couldn't hear what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was in Sunway Pyramid. I was like, what the hell? I still remember this. Like me and my ex-girlfriend, we were sitting down, and
so now I know why you have an issue with love.
Some people. So I remember there was an Indian girl. She was like wearing office clothes. She looked so prim and proper.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, so this is a very high class crowd.
Okay.
This was second day of the show. So we're like, okay, this is like no more shouting. movie started, the word Rajani, she's the first one to scream. And I was just like, whoa.
The S and the U and then
She just started screaming. And I was just like, you cannot take this loudness from idiots. And I think this is what makes us beautiful, but this is also what brings us trouble.
Trouble, yeah, definitely.
We are too invested in things. We are too much invested in things.
Although it has no connection with us, but we are there.
We are invested. So I realized that when I got in trouble, one thing about Indian is don't talk about things that will get them invested. Like, it's so fast. And they are very much like, Indians are the first people, they want to make sure they corrected you. They want to have the idea like, I corrected this person and you got better because of me. So in my videos, when I would put reels,
I'm actually afraid of actually sharing this video because I think that maybe
no, you can say it because this is like secret to my content. Sometimes I say certain words when I did this thing where I translate Tamil songs into English.
Yes, I like it. Yeah.
So I sometimes I mispronounce, I misquote it because I know for a fact like it's not that. But I misquote it. In the comments is, no, it's actually this, and I'm like, yeah, engagement. So it's one thing that I realize that Indians love to correct other people and they want to be right.
Yeah.
And they want to be the people that, you know, we should as a community we should not trash other people, but they're the first one to trash also. So I'm like, okay. And then we realized that in our podcast we just had this thing, we believe in ghosts, but never say we believe in God.
So there was a scene from Pride of Rajesh that I liked, and also you mentioned it in that song Bangun, where you talked about. I mean, of course, the Pride it wasn't mentioned, but the scene is where one guy Rajesh wants to get a loan, and then the boss keeps like telling him, you're nothing. You need this job and all that kind of stuff. And then in the song Bangun, there is a line where you talk about Indians pulling down Indians, right? Is this a problem only for us, or do you think it's other races as well?
I see this problem only for us, actually.
Okay.
I see this a lot in our culture.
Have you faced it personally?
Yeah, I faced it.
Oh, give us an example, man.
So, I remember, making Pride Rajesh is not the first attempt. I already made a movie before.
Okay.
For iFlix. But it's because, there's producer issues and everything. I faced that.
Okay.
So, because iFlix got bought over by someone, so we cannot release the movie.
Okay.
So, after that, we had a session where we somehow got Dana. Some people say, hey, we want to make a movie. We have this much money. Do you want it? And I was like, sure. So we were calling people like, okay, let's make this an India collaboration. So we were calling people like, okay, can you get us contact with Anirudh and all these people? So we realized that in an hour we got all this connection. Like, okay, that means we can. So we were doing the budget and everything. And then we started getting calls from people. Random people who I never spoke to before. Where you got the money from? Well, you cannot make a Malaysian movie with Malaysians, is it? And I was like, where did you get my number? Who's giving you the money? How much money they giving you? Why are you getting this money? Come, let's have a talk. I'm like, who are you?
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, right, everyone, in like less than 2 hours, everyone knew about it and everyone told me not to make the movie. And like, if you make a movie, don't charge so much. They told me like, the budget we had like 400K. They told me like, just spend it 100K. Don't make the movie too good. I was like, what the hell?
Well, why?
Because they all set a standard. You cannot. So even in the Indian industry, why Indian movies are shit? Okay, let me just tell you all this. Since I have a podcast, this could be a real. Okay, why Indian movies in Malaysia are shit is because you get the dana. Finance gives you a dana 300 to 400K. This is the budget for a movie. Okay, it's very hard to make a movie in that budget.
Specifically for Indian movies.
Yeah, because in terms of revenue wise, because theatre takes 50% of the ticket sale. So for you to make the 300K is 400K is quite difficult on its own. But also Malaysian Indians don't watch Malaysian movies. It's because of these reasons, right? 300K, 400K, right? This is something that I was told in real life by a person.
Allegedly.
No. I can't name the person, but they say this.
Okay.
They say like, this industry is a placho, bro. You have to use her as much as you can and take advantage of her. And I was just like, and this guy has made a lot of Malaysian Indian movies, and I'm just like, what? And he was telling us this, and he told us like out of 400K, he only gives the production crew, that means the cast, the crew, everybody 100K to make the movie. 300K he goes buys a new BM or in some house deposit or loan a car. That's what they do.
Shit, really?
It's like they only spend 100 to 150K. That's it.
So it's a budget problem. That's why the movies are not up to par.
Yeah, it's legit. It's one budget problem and also skill issue. Because a lot of the Indians, they believe like one short film you make, because Indians generally don't get a lot of content in Malaysia, Malaysian Indians.
Okay.
This is what I realized when I switched up about it. A lot of people, there's no enough content makers for Indian audience.
Okay.
So there's, because we only watch India content, there's no Malaysian local content creators.
Okay.
So when I started going, that's why I could blow up, because there was not enough people. So I can, even though I'm making the same content in English, in Tamil, I'm the first one to make it.
Okay.
Okay.
But then how about people like Sanjay Perumal who made Jagat and all that? Do they suffer? I mean, is this applies?
Okay, so you see Sanjay Perumal, Jagat, everything, right? It box office wise, it doesn't make the money.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. He cannot make a bigger movie because it doesn't make sense for him, for us to spend the money. He's more of a film festival guy. And even he saw Prior Rajesh and he like, your film is very artificial. But I understood why he said what he said, like, because
Okay.
I actually knew what was wrong with the film.
Okay.
So like, I really appreciate, because he's a filmmaker, so it's very easy to get. But it's a budget problem.
It's a budget problem.
They don't want to spend the money. And when they spend the money, people will be like, oh, why are you spending? Like Prada Rajesh, we made it for 3,000 ringgit.
I saw that on your YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's 3,000 ringgit only. And we were like, you can make this quality. But 3,000 ringgit is spent.
Okay.
It's not like we had
You
a
go-
budget.
Then you
and
go
we-
buy BM or stuff like that.
yeah. So, if I can get BM in 3,000 ringgit, I'll tell you.
Must be like a 1980s BM or something. I don't know.
So generally, it's a budget problem. And also a lot of filmmakers, they never made short films.
Okay.
So imagine you want to make a budget of 100K, an experienced filmmaker will say no. But if you never made films and I tell you, hey, you got 100K, can you make a movie and come?
I'll say yes because I have no idea.
Yeah, so you go make it.
But it'd be tough. Yeah.
But you never know what is good writing and everything. You never done it before. So when you make it, it's going to be bad.
But is this exclusive to Indian the Indian industry or is it
Yeah,
even the Malay and Chinese industries?
The
here?
Malay and Chinese industry, they are much more. They go into labs. So they go to film labs. They work their script and there's a lot more things. Here is as long as you have normal script, go do it. It can be just simple as hell.
Wow.
So here is like
Sorry, just because I have no idea what's industry. When you say film labs, what do you mean?
So okay, so have you seen this movie called Abang Adik?
No.
So it's a Malaysian movie that is it's a Malaysian and a Hong Kong movie that was done. So that the director of this movie, there's labs. So labs are like all over the world, they have it. You submit your script
Okay.
and your script gets selected. They will work with you, your script.
Oh, wow.
They will teach you how can we make the script better. And it's not like 1 month, it's 6 months. And it's very hard to get in actually. So they will select a few people. You go in, get it. And then from there, once you work the script, they will fund your film.
Wow.
So that's how they teach you.
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah. So a lot of Indian people, they don't go through this way. You get it? They don't study these things. They don't like learn or like, you tell me the camera work is good, right? It's because I studied. They don't even do that thing. They don't do a lot of pre-pro. Even though they do, they don't have the budget to execute what they want to do.
Okay.
They don't know how to budget their planning. They don't know like where should we spend, where we should not spend, and all this. And also like the actors get paid like shit.
Yeah, I would guess so. If you're giving shoestring budget, obviously they're going to get.
So like the actors, like morning you will like in one film, and night you will like another film.
Indian actors, huh?
Indian actors here. So they will just act like, that's why they don't come for short films and everything, because
There's no money.
just like we give them money, but that money is the same money as them acting in a film.
Okay.
So that's why the industry is like very bad. It's because of budget issue. And also like they don't make enough to go and learn things.
Okay.
So if you imagine like a director will earn like 3,000 ringgit or 4,000 ringgit for a film, that 4,000 ringgit he has, the project duration is 6 months. 4,000 ringgit spread over 6 months is
So nothing.
there's nothing, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to go and spend money in learning your skills? So that is the problem.
Okay.
So it's like budget issue creates like they don't have an avenue to learn this. And also our government is such a way that we don't appreciate art as much.
Hmm,
So we don't really, our culture is such a way the art culture doesn't really work. So we don't have avenues to go and learn all this.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know where to learn all this.
Okay.
So
Because even I think I had Jo Kukadas here, and she was talking about how some of the films made locally actually do better outside of Malaysia than they do within Malaysia. Across other even if it were Malay cinema or whatever, they actually get awards outside compared to here. It's not appreciated.
yeah.
Yes,
So even like, because I tell my friends that you don't have, because a lot of Indian filmmakers in Malaysia, what they will tell is, I want to make a movie like India. But the problem is, your first audience are going to be Malaysians. Malaysians have already seen India stories because that's their culture. Our culture is, we have Mama, we have like Pradesh, we have a lot of languages going. You have to make a story that's very local.
Yeah.
So-
and to be fair, even India is doing that now. You watch a lot of Hindi movies, even you watch in the Malayalam industry also, Tamil industry, they'll have Malayalam dialogue, they'll have Hindi dialogue. They're changing already because they understand that they want the film to like transcend states as well. Because, every state has its own language, right? India is like that.
Yeah.
So we should do that as well.
Yeah, so I think Malayalam industry figured it out. They told us the more local the stories, the more international the viewing. So like a lot of Indian people, they don't tell very localized stories. And when they tell localized stories, they don't tell human emotions very well. They go like love stories, time travel and everything. Like you can't even tell human emotions there. And you want to add so many elements to it. So it's also the writing.
Yeah, it is. I give you an example. Because I now I don't watch so many movies because I have no really time. Unfortunately, it's what I loved doing before. But my mother would introduce me to a lot of Malayalam movies, right? So there was one movie that introduced me. The whole story is it's about this guy who falls in love with a plant. He marries a plant because apparently he has some dosham, marry a plant, and how he takes care of that plant, and how he refuses to move away and find a human woman to be with. And then eventually one day the brother gets so angry, just chops off the entire plant, he gets upset, but eventually he meets this girl. It's very simple story, but the way the character development, the relationships between the characters, right? It was very entertaining, So it's all about writing and the content.
Yeah, so a lot of Malaysian writers, they cannot write that.
But is it because is it a Malaysian? Is it a skill? It can't be, right?
It's like they want to write, but they don't challenge themselves because they're like, oh, we need to make this as entertaining. So they will add like, I saw a film like directing. It's like, oh, you go show him who you are. So should I go show him my IC? I was just like, that's your dialogue. That's your dialogue. Oh my God, this is quite bad. That's how they are.
Okay.
So they don't like Indian Tamil language is so poetic because that's what I understand is so poetic. You have to have skills to write it very beautifully.
Okay.
So you cannot just say when you tell film, you have to take cinematic liberty on it. But people don't know how to do it.
In fact, even recently there was a situation where this guy, I think he had released a film, and then I remember on TikTok there were some videos going viral about how at the screenings it was empty.
Oh, so there's this trick.
Okay.
You know, when I make Tamil movie, part of the promotion, this is what the guy, who told me, part of the promotion is, as a director, after your movie comes out 2 days, you have to put a video of you crying, saying that nobody's in the cinema. Because that will make people to go to the cinema. Because Indians, again, are very emotional creatures. So they will like, oh my God, let's help this kid.
But then does it work?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but I remember movies like Venpa. Have you heard of Venpa, right? Venpa was promoted quite well. It was, and I think they crossed 1 million. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So like they know promotion, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know marketing.
Okay.
Like a lot of people think like, oh, I released my trailer today. In 2 weeks, my movie will like Deadpool, Wolverine itself. They had to release 1 year, 2 years ago to give the announcement. They keep constantly give you updates.
Yeah.
And they have
constantly
to
market. Yeah.
market. You give one trailer and you expect people to go watch it. So this is what they want. They don't understand how to market a film. And also like this crying, all these things is part of their marketing.
Really?
I'm not even joking. They even have the actors will come and tell me like we were asked to be part of the video to tell like please go watch it. We really worked hard on it. All this. It's part of their marketing.
So it's oh my goodness. So it's not like any racial problem. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Really?
It's a choice.
Yeah, I thought it was like
No. Because see, you fell for it.
I
Right?
fell for it. I was like,
Yeah, and you will like let's go watch it.
Yeah, support them.
That's why lah.
Okay, so I
That's
guess
right.
it works.
So
Oh
it
my
works. It works. It, like you don't have to do it. It works.
God. It works.
It's
Okay.
like you can't tell them wrong. Like they know their market very well.
Yeah. So, like, okay, last one. Like, in terms of distribution, do you think that because we see now, like, GSE is closing down a few branches, they've closed down and all that. In terms of distributing your movies, is the cinema still a good way to actually, get your movies out there?
It has to be, because even Netflix now, if they want to buy your movie, they will ask you if your cinema came into the theaters and it has run for certain times and it has certain amount of box office, your pricing of your movie is determined by that.
Okay.
How much they buy for it.
Okay.
So it's determined by cinema run. If you straight going to Netflix release, you have to follow certain criteria, and the budget is about 30,000, 40,000 USD.
Which is only about 100 plus thousand, lah.
Yeah, which is
Nothing, lah.
nothing.
See, I've learned so much today.
So
let me do the budgeting for your next
these
movie.
are things that I've like learned. La.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So but you have to go cinema.
Cinema.
But the only problem is in Malaysia, Malaysia itself, they don't promote our cinema very well.
outside.
Yeah, because one of my friend Jared, his film went to Comic Con, and also he got nominated for Cannes as well.
Really?
Yeah, he got nominated and he got selected all and everything. In the Cannes, they were waiting. The Malaysia Finas had a problem, and the Finas was asking, "Why are you here?" Oh, my film got nominated. It wasn't represented by Malaysia. He had to go independent.
Wow.
So Malaysia and Finas has certain rules where the Malaysian movies cannot talk about racially anything that's bad. It has to promote the culture.
Okay.
It cannot talk bad about the culture at all.
Okay.
That is their rule.
Okay.
So anything that talks about, that's why you see most of the movies that talks about their culture doesn't say it's a Malaysian movie. It's a collaboration between Singapore or Hong Kong. Like
Okay.
Budak Abang Adik talks about Malaysian having IC problem. It's collaborated with Hong Kong.
Okay.
If Police Evo is collaborated with Indonesia.
Then only they can talk about these issues.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't.
They can't. If it's a Malaysian movie, you can't talk about all this.
Okay.
These are things that they set rules.
Just one more thing. Because I used to do a lot of stand-up comedy shows last time. So I used to notice that the comedians that I bring down, right? The difference between, say, an Indian comic from India and a Malaysian comedian is that a Malaysian's comic, their material is sometimes very localized. It's localized to a point where, you see, if I'm an Indian comedian from India, I have 1 billion people in my country and I have probably a few 100 million people scattered across the world. So I can go there and make money. Whereas Malaysians are not like that. So in the stories, so for them to make money, they would have to make more universal content, right? That like a content that sort of transcends race and religion and of course, because at the root of it, most of us are the same. We have the same problems and the same needs and same wants. So you as a filmmaker in your coming films, do you aim to make the content more universal, like so that you can access other audiences if Malaysia is maybe say a too small a market to actually operate in?
Okay, I think the stories can be local, but emotions are universal.
Okay.
So you tell the stories through emotion. So you don't have to like tell the stories that are very like you see Malayalam movies like the story thing. That's a very that he's only thing, but why you connect to it? Because emotionally you're connected to it. So emotionally is a very universal thing.
Okay.
So the emotion, if you get the emotion right, it will cross the language.
Nice.
Anyone can understand it very well.
Nice, interesting, man. I mean, I wish we had more time, but maybe I'll love to have you on again and discuss these things.
We're supposed to have a prioritization.
Yes. So tell me about prioritization. I mean, we've no, but so share with us like what is your upcoming projects, man? Because you are looking to raise funds for the feature film.
Yeah.
For Prior. So maybe you want to share a bit about that.
So, okay, the idea of Prior Rajesh is actually talks about police brutality.
Ooh, so that has to be a collaboration then.
Yeah. So it's the film that you see. It's not the actual story. The actual story is about a guy who comes from an Indian family, and the father says like, if you buy a car, a BMW, Mercedes, people will respect us. So he use all his saving to buy a car. Actually, that's why he goes for the loan. He cannot get the loan because of a prior issue and everything. So he grows up in the apartment where he has friends and everything. So this office story actually doesn't come in the movie.
Oh, it's not in the movie at all.
Only the boss story comes in.
Okay.
The friend and girlfriend is the story where we took just liberty for the short film.
So the fact that he punches the guy to death, that's okay. That's
in
all
that,
part of it.
the main story actually has like he has another friend who grew up in this ghetto and he smoked culture. So he'll get the car through that guy, and that car that they get is involved in a murder.
Ooh.
So they be the prime suspect because they have the car.
Oh, him and the girl who have sex in the car.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
okay,
and then the
okay.
entire issue is, the first half is something happens, and second half is then it's a court case. So the entire case is he's trying to fight against the police.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like that. See, an Indian guy who has a prior case fighting against the cop, and how the media will make it look like he is the villain.
Okay, so now for this feature film, you are it's in the works. It's in the planning
We
process.
already wrote the story.
Wrote the story, but now
We
they
were
shoot it lah.
no, when you tell people like, oh, this police brutality, Malaysia, police brutality, it's not gonna happen. So we decided let's do the horror one first.
Okay.
So we establish ourselves as a director filmmaker, and then we go there. But I just want to tell people this is my style. This is how it's gonna be.
Okay.
And I have like music videos coming out and everything.
Okay. So about the fundraising, how can people assist you?
So, okay, here's the fun fact. We actually wanted to have a Patreon page and everything, like a Kickstarter program. Malaysia doesn't recognize Kickstarters.
As what? Sorry, don't recognize it in the means?
You cannot, like, Malaysians start Kickstarter, right? It's actually the bank is not in Malaysia, it's in Singapore. So you have to have a Singapore fella having the bank account, and then you can raise the fund.
Oh, okay.
Any fundraising thing.
They don't recognize Kickstarters.
So we are stuck. So we're like, okay, we can't do this. So we decided like, we're gonna make the horror film. We're gonna ask friends and family to like donate to us, and then we like between like 70 to 80K, we make a horror film because one location easy to do. So we're gonna do that and then see how the money is. Whatever profit we make, then we make the.
How much do you need to do that the feature film?
That prior Rajesh?
Prior to this?
500,000.
Whew. Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
No grants?
We cannot get grants because of the topic.
Oh, okay. So your hands are tied.
We really can't get grants. We can't get any money because people say, why are you saying such a serious topic? Just talk comedy. That's your strong suit.
Forte, yeah.
I'm like, no, this is such an important topic because the reason why I wrote the story is I actually saw someone getting a video of online, like somebody actually in the lockup, how they treated. So I had a conversation with police friends and they say like, when you're Indian, one of the lines in Paya Rajesh, the actual story is when he's in the lockup, we actually had this dialogue where he'll see another Indian guy, he'll say, can you help me? And then the guy will be like, you make Indians look, he'll come back and talk to Malay like, you cakap Tamil dengan I kenapa? Then it's like switching, I'm like, shit. And then the fellow will be like, because of you, we get a bad name. And then he'll start wrecking him. And we were like, that was the starting point of the film.
Shit, man. That sounds good.
So that is like, some of the scenes are like that. And then we have more scenes where the things will happen and we were like, court case drama will happen. So we have like good cops and bad cops as well. So we just want to say like, so the starting of the film, like in the trade, he'd be like, Apu Nene. So you see him in the prior Rajesh shot, we have him in the train. Actually in the train, the longer version, it'll be like, a kid will be there and they'll say, look, if not Apu Nene will catch you. Then he'll be like, arr. So you do that. And the ending is, he go through all of this after the police brutality and everything. The whole society is like telling he was the killer and they brand him as the killer. Police was right to do. But when he is actually convicted that he was not guilty, he was told the sentence is not guilty, there's no news coverage anymore. People don't see it anymore. People don't want to talk about this anymore. They go to the next big thing. So, but people don't know he's not guilty. People only know him as a guy who killed. So the ending, when people say, oh, Apa no catch you, he's just like, he will hit you differently. He'll just make you, he will just like, oh shit. Whatever you laugh in the start. So the starting film will be like a comedy and then become very serious.
Wow, okay. Interesting, man. Dude, that sounds like a killer movie, man.
That's why when we made Prior Rajesh, we were like, it's not the story, it's like 1% of the story that we made.
Shit, it sounds amazing, dude. Shit,
Thank you. I'm like,
I want to watch it. Bloody hell. It sounds good. So there's no fundraising link or you guys going to fundraise on your own?
Yeah, we're going to fundraise on our own. But for now, if you like it, go watch our film. Let us know what you think about it.
Yeah. So we'll be sharing the links to Prada Rajesh, which is on YouTube, and these videos as well that we release. So yeah, watch it, share your comments, share the videos, and let's help this amazing filmmaker, man. I love the story, man. Shit, I want to watch it. Really want to watch it.
It's very raw.
Yeah, it is.
Very
It sounds
raw.
very raw. Yeah.
So we wanted to show how they beat. So we actually have like how they actually beat without you having any bruises.
Oh, I've heard about this.
So we had that research all part of it.
Okay.
So the only thing is now we are researching on the lawyer part.
Okay. So when can we? I mean, if everything goes well, this will take a few years.
Yeah, a bit 2-3 years.
Okay.
We decided to go to the film festival route first. Go make the film festival first and then come back here.
Okay, man. But buddy, I wish you the best of luck. You're an amazing filmmaker.
If not,
amazing
I'll be like making an apology video.
another press con. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether after this, some of the content that I release will get some press cons or not.
I think one thing is your podcast will do very well.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Thank you so much, buddy.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much. I really respect you, man. I love the content and I love the story. I can't wait for the show. And if ever you have a fundraising thing you raise, you want some support, let me know. We can definitely promote it and get some.
Oh, thank you. We will
Yeah,
definitely
definitely,
let you know. I will definitely let you know. I will be like, this is much money I need.
Yeah. You said you will help.
Where is it?
All right, guys. So that's all for today. Thank you so much again to my guest, Mr. Jiven. You can check out his YouTube channel, Jiven Sekar. We'll be sharing the links in the video. Check out all the amazing short films he's done. And this guy is an OG. He's been in the business for more than a decade. And I think we have yet to see the best of him. So take care till next time. As always, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.